The massive starship U.S. Prometheus glided silently through the inky blackness of space, its sleek titanium hull reflecting distant starlight. Commander David Kim stood at the central command station, his hands clasped behind his back, scanning the holographic displays that surrounded him. Lieutenant Emily Park monitored the ship's advanced sensor arrays, her fingers dancing across translucent control panels. The ship's quantum-enhanced detection systems were unlike anything developed in previous decades of human space exploration. "Commander," Emily called out, her voice calm but alert, "we're detecting multiple unidentified vessels approaching from the galactic southeast quadrant." David nodded, his eyes never leaving the holographic star map. The alien ships were moving in a classic military formation, tight, disciplined, and clearly expecting an easy encounter. They had no idea what awaited them. The first alien communication crackled through the ship's communication systems, a harsh, guttural language translated automatically by the ship's quantum computer. The message was clear: surrender immediately or be destroyed. David chuckled softly. Humanity had been preparing for this moment for generations. The alien vessels were impressive by previous galactic standards. Sleek metallic hulls with energy weapon ports that gleamed with an intimidating purple-blue light. Their design suggested centuries of technological development, but they were about to learn that human technology had leapfrogged their own in ways they couldn't comprehend. "Tactical team, prepare defensive protocols," David commanded. His crew moved with precision, each member understanding their role perfectly. The alien ships began their attack sequence. Energy weapons charged, targeting systems locked onto the Prometheus. They expected a quick victory, a simple subjugation of what they believed was a primitive species. But the Prometheus was anything but primitive. As the first wave of energy weapons approached, the ship's quantum shields flickered momentarily, not from damage, but from the sheer absorption of destructive power. The alien commanders watching their targeting screens must have been shocked to see their most powerful weapons dissipate like morning mist. Emily's fingers moved rapidly across her console, analyzing enemy ship configurations, structural weaknesses identified in 3 primary vessels. David's eyes narrowed. Target and neutralize. The Prometheus didn't just defend. It counterattacked with a level of precision that would redefine space warfare. Quantum-entangled projectiles emerged from specialized weapon ports, each one capable of simultaneously existing in multiple points of space. The first alien vessel split apart in less than 3 seconds. No explosion, no dramatic fireball, just a clean, precise disintegration that suggested technology so advanced it was almost magical. "Enemy vessels attempting retreat," Emily reported. "Negative," David responded. "We need to send a message." Within 7 minutes, the entire alien patrol squadron had been systematically disabled. Not destroyed, disabled. Each ship rendered completely non-functional, but its crew very much alive. A deliberate choice to communicate humanity's technological superiority and restraint. The quantum communication logs would later show that the alien command structure was in complete shock. Their most advanced patrol squadron, equipped with what they considered cutting-edge technology, had been neutralized by a single human vessel without a single human casualty. As the last alien ship went dark, David turned to his crew. "Excellent work, everyone. Prepare full sensor and communication logs for transmission to Earth Command." Lieutenant Park allowed herself a small smile. Humanity had just announced its arrival on the galactic stage, and they had done so with a statement that would echo through alien communication networks for decades to come. The U.S. Prometheus continued its patrol, disappearing into the vast darkness of space, leaving behind a moment that would change interstellar relations forever. Would you like me to elaborate on any specific aspect of this first contact scenario? The alien fleet regrouped after their initial shocking defeat, their communication channels buzzing with confusion and mounting anger. Commander Tahoe Kwan studied the sensor recordings of the previous encounter, his scaled hands trembling slightly as he reviewed the impossible data. The Prometheus maintained a calculated distance, its systems constantly monitoring the alien fleet's movements. Inside the ship, every crew member knew this next engagement would be more than just a battle. It would be a statement about humanity's capabilities. Energy weapons charged on both sides. The alien ships released a coordinated barrage that would have obliterated any known spacefaring civilization. But the Prometheus was different. Its quantum shields absorbed the incoming attacks like water soaking into a sponge, barely causing a ripple in the ship's protective field. Incoming multiple attack vectors, Lieutenant Emily Park announced, her voice steady. They're adapting their strategy. Commander David Kim watched the holographic displays, noting the aliens' tactical shifts. They were learning, but learning too slowly. Humanity had been preparing for first contact scenarios for decades, running countless simulations and developing technologies that seemed like science fiction just years ago. The Prometheus didn't just defend. It began to actively dismantle the alien fleet with surgical precision. Quantum-entangled projectiles emerged from specialized weapon ports, each one calculating multiple attack possibilities simultaneously. It was warfare beyond three-dimensional thinking, a dance of probability and technological superiority. 3 alien vessels suddenly lost power. Not destroyed, but completely neutralized. Their crews would be alive, but completely helpless, a deliberate choice to demonstrate humanity's technological mercy. Commander Taho Kwan watched in disbelief. His most advanced patrol squadron, equipped with what they considered the pinnacle of military technology, was being systematically dismantled by a single human vessel. Each attack by his fleet was anticipated, each strategy countered before it could fully develop. How are they doing this? He muttered, his communication officers scrambling to understand the impossible scenario unfolding before them. The Prometheus moved with a grace that defied traditional space combat mechanics. It wasn't just a ship, it was a quantum computer with weapons, capable of processing millions of tactical scenarios in microseconds. Where alien ships moved in predictable patterns, the human vessels seemed to exist in multiple potential positions simultaneously. Another alien vessel went dark, then another. The entire engagement lasted less than 12 minutes. Emily Park looked up from her console. Commander, all enemy vessels neutralized. 0 human casualties. David Kim nodded, his expression calm. This was more than a battle. This was a message to the galaxy about humanity's true potential. The quantum communication logs would later reveal the complete shock of the alien command structure. Their most advanced patrol squadron, considered the pinnacle of their military might, had been completely disabled by a single human vessel that seemed to operate on an entirely different technological plane. As the last alien ship powered down, the Prometheus continued its patrol, disappearing into the vast darkness of space. No dramatic explosions, no unnecessary destruction, just a clean, precise demonstration of technological superiority. The galaxy would soon learn that humanity was not just another species to be conquered or overlooked. They were a force to be understood, respected, and potentially feared. Commander David Kim turned to his crew. Prepare full sensor and communication logs for transmission to Earth Command. Let's show them what we're capable of. The bridge crew worked silently, each movement precise, each action calculated. They were no longer just explorers or soldiers. They were the first wave of humanity's true introduction to the galactic community. And what an introduction it would be. Would you like me to elaborate on any specific aspect of this initial engagement scenario? The communication chambers of the alien Imperial headquarters erupted in chaos. Holographic displays flickered with the devastating recording of the Prometheus's encounter with their patrol squadron. Admiral Jinwoo Lee watched the footage repeatedly, his hands clenched into tight fists. "This is impossible," whispered the chief strategic advisor, his voice trembling. "A single human vessel destroy our most advanced patrol group." The Imperial communication networks were flooding with panic. Reports came in from multiple sectors, each more unbelievable than the last. The humans had not just defeated their ships, they had done so with a level of technological sophistication that seemed almost magical. Deep within the Imperial war rooms, massive strategic maps showed the potential human invasion routes. But these were no longer maps of potential conquest. They had become maps of potential defense. Admiral Lee understood the gravity of the situation. Humanity was not just another species to be conquered or controlled. They were something entirely different, a technological wildcard that could potentially reshape the entire galactic power structure. "Prepare the Second Fleet," he commanded. "We will crush these humans and send a message that cannot be ignored." The Second Fleet was massive, over 500 advanced warships, each equipped with technologies that had subjugated countless civilizations over centuries. They represented the pinnacle of the alien empire's military might. Sleek, powerful vessels designed to overwhelm and destroy any potential resistance. But they had never encountered humans before. Communication intercepted by human intelligence suggested total panic within the alien command structure. Their strategic meetings became heated arguments. Some wanted immediate total war. Others suggested caution and diplomacy. The recording of the Prometheus's encounter played repeatedly, a constant reminder of their technological vulnerability. The human intelligence team, led by Emily Park, analyzed every intercepted communication. They understood the psychological impact of their first encounter. It wasn't just a military victory. It was a psychological warfare masterpiece. Commander David Kim reviewed the strategic reports. The aliens were assembling a massive counterattack fleet, believing their numerical superiority would overcome human technological advantages. But humanity had been preparing for this moment for generations. Advanced research facilities on Earth had been developing quantum technologies, space warfare strategies, and defensive systems that existed beyond conventional understanding. The Prometheus was just the first glimpse of humanity's true potential. "They're coming," Emily reported, pointing to the massive fleet movement detected by quantum sensors. Approximately 537 warships, multiple weapon systems, classic invasion formation. David's response was calm. "Let them come." The alien fleet moved with what they believed was overwhelming force. Their commanders were convinced that sheer numbers would crush the human resistance. They had no concept of the technological gap that existed between their understanding and human capabilities. Imperial propaganda channels began broadcasting messages of imminent victory. "We will crush the human threat," proclaimed high-ranking military leaders. "They will learn the true meaning of galactic power." But they had no idea what was coming. The human fleet, led by the Prometheus and the soon-to-be-revealed U.S. destroyer, was already preparing a response that would reshape galactic history. This was more than a battle. This was humanity's announcement to the universe. "We are here. We are not asking for permission." Admiral Jinwoo Lee continued to stare at the holographic displays, a growing sense of dread replacing his initial confidence. Something fundamental had changed in the galaxy, and they were about to discover exactly what that meant. The massive alien fleet continued its approach, unaware that they were sailing into a technological storm that would redefine everything they understood about warfare, technology, and their place in the universe. Humanity was coming, and nothing would be the same again. "Would you like me to elaborate on any specific aspect of this Imperial panic scenario?" The vast emptiness of space suddenly rippled with an impossible quantum distortion. Before the alien fleet's sensors could fully comprehend the anomaly, the U.S. destroyer emerged. A kilometer-long testament to human engineering that defied conventional understanding. Admiral Jinwoo Lee's primary command ship went silent. The holographic displays flickered as the massive human vessel materialized, its hull absorbing and reflecting starlight in ways that seemed to challenge the basic laws of physics. Commander David Kim's voice transmitted across multiple quantum communication bands. "This is your only warning. Withdraw or be neutralized." The alien fleet's 537 warships represented centuries of military development. Sleek, deadly vessels that had conquered countless civilizations. They looked like children's toys against the massive human dreadnought. Quantum-fold cannons emerged from the destroyer's weapon ports, These were not traditional weapons. They could simultaneously attack multiple dimensional planes, rendering traditional defensive strategies completely obsolete. The first strike came without warning. 12 alien vessels simply ceased to exist, not destroyed, not exploded, but completely removed from spatial existence. No debris, no energy signature, just empty space where ships once were. "Impossible," whispered the alien fleet's tactical coordinator, his hands trembling across the control panels. The destroyer moved with a grace that defied traditional space combat mechanics. It wasn't just a ship, it was a quantum computer with weapons, capable of processing millions of tactical scenarios in microseconds. Another wave of quantum attacks. 20 more alien vessels vanished. The remaining fleet began a panicked retreat, but there was nowhere to run. The human vessel anticipated every movement, every potential escape route. Emily Park managed the ship's complex systems, her fingers dancing across quantum adaptive control interfaces. "All systems optimal," she reported. Enemy fleet response: complete confusion. Commander Kim watched the tactical display. This wasn't just a battle. This was a demonstration, a statement about humanity's true technological potential. The alien communication channels erupted in pure terror. Their most advanced fleet, their pinnacle of military might, was being systematically neutralized without a single human casualty. 37 minutes. That's all it took. 537 alien warships reduced to nothing. No dramatic explosions, no unnecessary destruction. Just a clean, precise elimination that suggested technologies so advanced they were almost magical. "Transmission complete," Emily announced. Full sensor logs being prepared for Earth command. The destroyer began its return trajectory, leaving behind nothing but empty space and a fundamental shift in galactic power dynamics. Humanity had arrived, and they were not asking for permission. Admiral Jin Wu-Li could only stare in absolute shock. Everything they understood about military power, about technological superiority, had been completely dismantled in less than an hour. The quantum communication logs would later show the complete psychological breakdown of the alien command structure. Their entire military philosophy, developed over centuries, had been rendered completely obsolete by a single human vessel. As the U.S. destroyer disappeared into quantum-fold space, it left behind a clear message to the galaxy. Humanity was here, and they were not to be underestimated. The bridge of the human vessel remained calm. No celebrations, no dramatic speeches, just the quiet professionalism of a crew that understood they had just changed the course of galactic history. Commander David Kim looked out into the starfield. "Mission accomplished," he said simply. The universe would never be the same again. "Would you like me to elaborate on any specific aspect of the destroyer's arrival scenario?" The galactic communication networks exploded with the news of humanity's decisive victory. What had begun as a simple patrol mission had transformed into a watershed moment that would redefine interstellar relationships forever. Diplomatic vessels from dozens of alien civilizations began converging on human communication channels. They weren't coming as conquerors or challengers, but as confused and somewhat terrified observers. Commander David Kim stood before the United Earth Diplomatic Council, presenting the full sensor logs of their encounters. The recording showed a level of technological sophistication that seemed almost impossible. One moment of particular interest was how the U.S. destroyer had neutralized an entire invasion fleet without firing a single traditional weapon. "We are not interested in conquest," David explained calmly. "We are interested in peaceful coexistence, but we will defend ourselves if necessary." The quantum communication networks carried his message across multiple star systems. The subtext was clear. Humanity was a sleeping technological giant that had finally awakened. Intelligence reports suggested massive internal conflicts within the alien imperial structures. Some wanted immediate diplomatic engagement. Others wanted total war. But their previous military confidence had been completely shattered. Emily Park managed the complex communication protocols, filtering and analyzing incoming transmissions from various alien civilizations. Each message carried a mixture of respect, fear, and curiosity. The human research facilities on Earth were working overtime. The technologies demonstrated by the Prometheus and the Destroyer were just the tip of the technological iceberg. Quantum computing, dimensional fold technologies, and adaptive quantum weaponry represented only the beginning of human potential. Alien diplomatic missions began arriving in carefully controlled environments. They came not to negotiate, but to understand. How could a species seemingly emerge from nowhere with such advanced capabilities? Little did they know that humanity had been preparing for this moment for decades. Secret research facilities, quantum computing networks, and advanced strategic planning had been quietly developing technologies that would reshape galactic understanding. The first official diplomatic meeting was held on a neutral space station. Representatives from multiple alien civilizations sat across from human diplomats, their body language a mixture of fear and intense curiosity. "We do not seek to replace or destroy," said the human lead diplomat. "We seek to coexist and explore." But the unspoken message was clear. Humanity would do so from a position of absolute technological superiority. Quantum communication logs would later reveal the complete psychological impact of humanity's emergence. An entirely new chapter in galactic civilization was beginning, with humans as the unexpected central characters. Research facilities on Earth were already developing next-generation technologies. The Destroyer and Prometheus were just the first steps. Humanity had an entire universe to explore, and they would do so on their own terms. The alien civilizations that had once considered themselves the pinnacle of technological development now understood a fundamental truth. They knew nothing. Commander David Kim reviewed the diplomatic reports. Each transmission, each interaction was carefully calculated. This wasn't just about military superiority. This was about establishing a new paradigm of interstellar relationships. Emily Park approached with the latest communication analyses. "Multiple civilizations are requesting technology exchange protocols," she reported. David smiled slightly. "Not yet," he responded. "Let them wait. Let them understand." The galactic statement had been made. Humanity had arrived, and the universe would never be the same again. As the diplomatic meetings continued and quantum communication networks buzzed with speculation, one thing became absolutely clear. The human species was not just another civilization. They were a force of technological and strategic brilliance that would reshape everything they touched. The sleeping giant had awakened, and the galaxy would never forget this moment. Would you like me to elaborate on any specific aspect of this galactic statement scenario?